Thank you, Angel, and Heidi ho, everyone. Welcome aboard. It's good to have your company as always. And it is already Tuesday, the 21st of September. Got absolutely no idea how we got there so fast, but we did. And that's something up with which we must put. First person who puts in the chat box who said that, I'll congratulate. I was going to say I'll give them a prize, but I don't think I've got one in the trophy cabinet. So just tell me who actually said that. Who was the eldest statesman who came up with that? Something up with which we must put. Okay, we are going to kick off today's session as we always do by looking at the validity or otherwise of the pound breakout trade. Now, I know there are some people, don't know if they're in the room at the moment, but there are some people who have recently gone through IFP who will have really absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. So I'll try today to go just a little bit slower and explain what I'm actually trying to do here. So there's a time-honored tradition of trying to capture the first few minutes, if you like, of London session. And that is primarily conducted with a pound US dollar breakout. Now, I think when I first started learning currency trading, this was a thing, right? And that's only 15 odd years ago. But it was probably a thing well before that as well. In fact, I've got no doubt it was a thing well before that. What is interesting is that everybody that I've seen trying to execute it is probably still trying to work out the best way to do so. I'm in that group, right? Now, we are currently in a pound US dollar breakout trade from last Thursday, perhaps. I think that's the case. And we got taken in here. Now, the rule of this particular system that is currently in vogue, and it is in beta testnet, right? This is not a structured system that we've proved over time works and works and works. So I'm still trying to perfect it. So bear with us whilst we get that. And mind you, we've been doing this for more than a year and we haven't done that yet, haven't perfected it yet. And what I mean by that is we haven't given a scenario that has given far better results or results good enough to share with you guys as to which is the best way to go. As soon as we decide that that's the case, then we'll certainly let you know. But the current system that I'm using, because Ash and I have sat down and gone through a whole bunch of data and all the rest of it, I won't say back tested it because that implies that we're good at computing. No, that's not the case. So I try to ascertain whether we've got a range that needs to break in the previous day and current to date day. And I don't really see that that's the case. We've got lower, high, lower, low, 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 potential turnaround. But the only thing I can see possible here was everything's possible. The only thing I can see that is probable here is a break of this little range here. And I'm kind of okay with that. But what I'm not okay with is it's not part of the rules, not part of the current rules. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually monitor this. So suggesting that we enter the market 5 pips above that level and 3 pips below that level. Now, for those of you here for the first time, again I say, welcome to you. But what we're trying to achieve here is a breakout of the range of yesterday and today thus far. But I don't think that's a range. Yes, there's a range in here and you could try to trade that. We've done that before as well. But here's what we do. We put an entry long 5 pips above the high of the range, which could be the high of the bar, not the close of the bar. And we put a short 3 pips below the range or the low of the range. And whichever one triggers, we cancel the other. So it's known as an OCO. One cancels the other. Now, today I choose not to do that because the range is really here to here. And I don't think that's a viable proposition, because I think if we get back to here, we're going to run into resistance here in the monthly pivot and the weekly pivot. So bang, we're going to hit our heads on a ceiling and probably go that way. Down the bottom, genuine breakout material there for about 30 pips. And we're actually counting on that because that's our target from Thursday, right? If we hit that, we're out of the trade. So I don't think there's a genuine opportunity to play the breakout today, but that is the target for the short that we're already in, 136.13, if you want to follow that. That's about the best I can do for you on pound US dollar today. Now, if I were to be trading pound US dollar today, would I like to go short? I think I would look for short if we got back to that level, which is really the breakout level, and is about 136.90-ish. So on the smaller time frames, yeah, I'd be okay to trade it short, but I think you're not going to get much reward out of it. You want to pull up about here or even here where I've got my take profit for last Thursday. So that's the pound US dollar breakout trade. Now, the reason I wanted to go through that just a little bit more today than I do normally is, as I say, there are some people in the room that have just gone through IFP and have got no idea what I'm doing, I'm sure. They're looking at me and going, what the hell is this guy doing? We didn't learn any of that in IFP, and you won't, because basically I'm a freestyle trader and pretty much do what I see on any given day. Now, there is a method to my madness, and I'll share that with you in a little bit, but let's go through potential trades for the day. Now, we started off with three, what I call game changer bars today. The first of them was pound Aussie. Now, how I determine what a game changer bar is probably something that you need to know, because otherwise you'll have no idea what I'm doing, ever. So a game changer bar to me is a bar whose high, in this case, whose high is higher than the previous day and closes on or near its low. That's number one. Now, the reverse of that is a bar whose low is lower than the previous day and closes on or near its high. Such was the case with this candle, and look what happened. Such was the case with that candle, and look what happened. Such was the case with that candle, and look what happened. Such was the case with that candle, and look what happened. Such was the case with that candle, and look what happened. So you can't tell me they're not worth looking at. I didn't say they were worth trading every day, but you can't tell me they're not worth looking at, because just on this chart alone, it gives you enough evidence to suggest that they work, right? Now, that said, everything that I do has to have context, and context is probably more important than what I've just shown you. When I've been through these pairs, I'm going to come back and show you what I mean by context and how we actually find the context that is important to us. Okay, so what do we do today with pound Aussie? Well, what that game changer bar tells me is that price is likely to go short next, but it's only one layer. It's only one piece of the puzzle. There's quite a few other pieces of the puzzle. If you look at this chart, you would say, okay, we've got a left shoulder here, a head and a right shoulder here. Okay, maybe this is the right shoulder. We don't know that yet. And if that's the case, potentially we're going to head down here somewhere and play that head and shoulders. Look, I'm not yet convinced that that's the case, but that's not really the important part for me. The important part for me is what is the main or primary chart pattern here that we're dealing with. I'm going to come back and go through that and show you exactly what that is and how to find it very, very shortly. But just bear with me, guys who are new, and I'll tell you if I am trading or if I'm not trading these, what essentially are key reversal bars. But there's more to it, as I say. So pound Aussie, do I want to trade short here? Answer no. Why? Well, really, we've just come back above this resistance, or sorry, support level, which became resistance, broke as resistance, and now it's become support again. Perhaps, we don't know that yet. But moreover, you've also got a horizontal level. If you want to use the open and close, it's there. If you want to use the lows, it's there. So you'd be trading dead into it. Not interested. It doesn't do anything for me. So answer for that one is no. Kiwi Cad was not one of them. I don't know why I've got that next. Euro Aussie was not one of them. Pound Cad is what I'm looking for. And it's not there. Let's go for Pound Cad. Pound Cad is there. G'day, Paul P. G'day, Gyra. How you doing, mate? Good to see you back in the room. How's Bub? Pound Cad. Now, Pound Cad, gee, I hate this thing. How do I get rid of that again? I go to here, then I go to here, and I come down and find white smoke. Anybody who hasn't got a market scanner, forget what I'm, just completely ignore what I'm talking about. Babe's good. Awesome. Awesome, mate. How's the sleep patterns? That's the next question. Okay, so yesterday we had a game changer bar. Now, what's the criteria again, guys? High, higher than the previous day, closed on or near its low, bang, gone. Too late. Unless you're in that early, too late. Now, I rarely trade. Who are these people? I rarely trade a red candle short. Now, if you've just done IFP, you'll think that's absolutely, completely against what you just learned. And let me start by saying that's fine. The reason that's fine is I think there's probably 4,003,221. Anyone who can name that song gets a prize as well. Ways to enter the market and ways to trade the market. This is but one of them. And okay, Gyra, hang on a second. I'll have a look at that. And I'm not suggesting for 1 second that the system that you've probably just been exposed to does not work when you trade a red candle short, because it's a completely different method of trading. So please don't confuse the two. Don't try and combine the two, because you'll get in awful trouble if you're just starting out to trade and you're trying to combine what I do with what somebody else is trying to do. We'll get there in completely different ways. The point is we get there in the end. Gyra wants to have a look at dollar Sing short on the daily. Okay, let's do that. Dollar Sing is there. Okay, daily charts is suggesting a rejection of the monthly pivot. Love that sort of candle. That's my thing. We've got a double top and we've got the first significant lower high, potential lower high. So I like that. Now let me see what contextually we're looking at here. Little tweezer top sitting there as well. Is it at a nice resistance level? Hang on, I'll put a chart up so I can get rid of this. Dollar Sing, there we go. Template, me. Okay. Now it's much clearer, right? We've also got what really does look like a distinct channel, but I don't think it's that good. Kind of there. I wouldn't call it a good one, but I need to know more. Okay, so this is what I was talking about before with the dominant chart pattern. What is a dominant chart pattern? Well, can you see something on here? And you go back to your textbooks here. Textbooks will tell you that there are clear patterns when the market is about to reverse. One of those patterns is a double top. I can see a very clear double top in here. I can also see, like I said on the previous chart, that we've been in a tumble, and a pretty fast one since then, and haven't really come back to test anything. What are we testing here is the question. It's a level. We've had resistance, bit of support through there, and resistance here, and a bit of resistance here. It's a level that we've come off. I've got no question there. Bring it down to where price is. Price is there. Kind of no man's land. But it has put in a tweezer top on the monthly pivot. Sorry, on the monthly chart at a significant level. And it's a lower high. So I'm with you directionally. All we've got to do is now narrow it down and see if we can find a trade. Double top again. There's that level that I put on the chart. We've come through it. And are we retesting it? Yes, we are retesting. So that's interesting as well. We're on the monthly pivot. We've come off that trade line or the top of that channel at a confluence area, which is that same level that I put on the chart. How do we get in here is the question. Now, I'm a trader who likes to trade setups. If I'm a trader who likes to trade levels, or even if I'm a scalper, I just get in here and go, okay, this is going short, I'm in. But there's an issue with that particular scenario in this particular instance, and that is the aforementioned monthly pivot. If I wanted to go short here, I'm trading straight into that monthly pivot, but not only the monthly pivot, also the daily pivot, which has already been rejected twice. So yeah, look, I do like the scenario in terms of direction, but finding the entry is interesting. Daily chart. You're waiting for false. Yeah, totally. And that's my thing, right? The way I get short is to trade as a false break of resistance. Now, where is that resistance? It can be a horizontal level. It can be a pivot, but more often than not, it is a trend line, or what I call a trade line, not necessarily a trend line. Have I got one? Well, there's nothing here on the 4 hour. But there is something on the hourly. So if I join these highs, here's what I'd be looking for on the hourly chart. Price to break through, maybe hit its head on that level, which is 135.18-ish. Then pop a little bit of consolidation up there is a good thing. Then pop down underneath, yes, the trade line, but probably better still, the daily pivot and the monthly pivot. So I'd like to see something that looks like this. Let me go with pen. So I'd like to see price bob up to here. Stop there is fine, but stop there is just as fine. I'm okay with either. And then put in a couple of candles of consolidation, pop back underneath, retest the trade line. Would be okay, but still risky because look what the pivots are doing to price. Bounce, 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 bounce. So best case scenario is to go through the pivots, take out the low of the day, then come back and test that area. And you can go short there, or you can go short there. Target, pretty clear. It's either in here or it's the weekly pivot. So that one's pretty clear. Gyro, I like the direction, mate. And I think if that's the scenario that we're presented with, happy days. 30-minute, 4-hour, daily, don't care. Any one of those is fine because we do have potential reversal pattern. We haven't really got, yeah, we do. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high is not formed yet. Maybe this is it. That's the plan. So yes, agree, mate, 100%. I'm with you. Let me get rid of that, and we can go back to my little mouse. There we go. All right, so that is dollar Sing. Now, where was I? I was with pound CAD, and we decided that pound CAD, going back to here, pound CAD is probably a similar prospect to go short, but have I got, again, a setup to do that? Or have I missed the boat? Has the boat sailed? I would say that's probably the more pertinent of the two statements. Here was your candle to trade, right? Don't like trading them because I like to trade green bars short, not red bars short. That's just my thing, right? Why? You somebody would ask that. The reason is it's an insurance policy. What do I mean by that? I better come back and explain. I haven't got through the charts, have I? Let me go through the charts and I'll come back and explain what I'm talking about. That's probably the best thing to do. Dollar Swissy. Dollar Swissy is the next of these game changer bars. What's a game changer bar, guys? A candle or a bar whose high is higher than the previous day, or sorry, not necessarily a day. I also do this on a weekly chart. I don't do it on any chart smaller than weekly or daily, smaller than daily. High is higher than the previous day. Low or closes on or near its low, as did this candle. Do I want to go short here? Is the question. Again, going back to your context. One of those contexts is, do I trade into a support or resistance level? Answer no. Where's the support or resistance level? There's one there with the opens and closes of that. There's another one there. So you've got a truckload of support underneath this if you wanted to go short right now. So let me go to the methodology that I would use to trade this. Yes, I'm okay with the direction, or am I? What's the big picture? Underneath a resistance trade line or trend line, I have to go tighter because of 1st of January 2015 is a pain in the ass because it scrunches up your chart. Why is that? Why is that a pain in the ass? The reason is this. When the euro and the Swissy decoupled on the 1st of, I think it was the 1st of January 2015, the market went ape shit for a day. Thousands of pips in like an hour and a half. Just ridiculous. And if you don't believe me, have a look at the Euro Swissy chart on the 1st of January 2015. So it stuffs up the charts. That's kind of more what I want to look for, where we're sitting. And we're sitting at a horizontal level and a confluence area. So I'm a short bias until we break that level. Best way to trade it is exactly as Jaira just described on Dollar Sing. Wait for a false break of resistance. Now, we don't have any resistance here on the 4-hour chart at the moment. Do we have some on the hourly? No, all we've got is a range. We've got a trade line, not even trade line on the hourly chart. There's one through here. Let's use that. So there actually isn't one through there on the hourly. Let's put it on the 30 and we'll find it. Says he. Okay, there it is. We'll probably have to go up to there. That high is going to be too level. So we'd use that, and we'd probably use that high. Yeah, I don't like anything. I don't think there's a good resistance level there at all. So I'm going to not use it. Like I said before, you can use a horizontal level. So if this level were to break and price, let's say, went to the daily pivot, which is one of my favorite plays, and then came back underneath that level and retested it, then I can go short, which is the bias, right? Until we get above that area there. So looking for a short, but not there yet. Same. And everything at the moment has got these characteristics where, okay, we're very, very near to having a trade on our hands, and the buts. And when the buts are there, you need to do exactly that, butt out and wait for something to happen. Guys, by the way, I see a few people in YouTube today. If you wanted to join the room and participate, you can also put questions in the chat box in YouTube. But if you wanted to come into the room, the Zoom room, as it were, then all you need to do, there's a link down there somewhere that will shoot you into the room here. You'll have to pass the Angel test, of course. Angel will screen you to come into the room. And if you're a terrorist or a terrible person, you probably won't get in. But if you want to come in and have a chat, you can talk to us. This is a bit of a chat show. Ash is not in today. He's not in on Tuesdays, but I will be joined shortly by Shukri. I believe he's coming in today, who will tell us all about the crypto space and what's going on there. All right, so answer to my question to myself is, am I going to trade anything on that basis today? Answer no, because there are too many buts, ifs and buts around the place. What did strike my attention today, however, was Kiwi Cad. And it looks as though I may have gone on a boat that sailed again. The reason, and this is exactly what we just spoke about, right? Because we do have, you call it what you want. We've certainly got a bearish engulfing bar there, which suggests that there's a reversal on hand. We've got potentially a head and shoulders there. We've certainly got a double top, and we've got a new double top in that candle there as well. So my thought process is, if we can find one of two things, a lower high or a false break of resistance, then we are in business and can go short. And I know that, again, those of you who are in the room for the first time won't know what the hell what I call a false break of resistance actually looks like. Well, this is very close to one. What we need to see, and of course it can be a false break of support as well. So it's exactly how I like to get short in the market. When I've got a market that's telling me it wants to go short, I wait for a false break of resistance or a lower high on the back of either a double top, head and shoulder, something of that nature. That's a reversal pattern. So in this case, all I needed to see with that bar right there was price come back and test the level being either the weekly pivot or the trade line. Had that been the case, I would be in that trade short now. It wasn't the case. And for that reason, I'm not in the trade. I have to wait for that to occur because it confirms, and here's the insurance bar part that I was talking about before. The green candle here confirms to me that if price wants to come back to where that candle began its journey, then that means the bears are in control, because they're already starting to gain control here. One little green candle back to here, giving me the insurance that if I'm wrong, then these dudes are going to take back over and they're going to drive the market back to the highs. But if my analysis is correct, and this is indeed a false break, then, as I said before, if price comes back to the beginning of that candle, it's going to go to a support level. This one's pretty close. So you probably wouldn't want to trade a big candle to there without taking profit. In fact, you'd want to take profit there, which is, again, one of my rules. So that's precisely what I'm looking for every single day of the week. Potential reversal, break of resistance, turned false, then go short. So it's the confirmation thing. And why I don't trade red bars short, in this case, this bar here, if I were to go short here, I'd now be in drawdown and I wouldn't be happy. I hate drawdown, right? I hate losing, full stop. But that's the one thing that does put me on edge. Because I'm an old fart, I don't like being on edge. I've never liked being on edge in the financial world. I'd much prefer to be in front from the get-go and never look backwards. That's why I do what I do. That's why I trade green bars short and red bars long. They're insurance bars for me. So we've got a big double top here. We're looking for a lower high, right? Same thing, same. Kiwi Cad. The reason I was interested in this morning was that bar was going to be the one that I wanted to trade, but it hasn't turned out that way. The other one that I was interested in this morning was Euro Aussie. Now, Euro Aussie is in a clear, to my mind, potential head and shoulders scenario. It's gone into a range here, big breakout, which turned out to be false. Here's a classic example of what I'm talking about. So it broke the level, the top of my range, which really hadn't formed here, if I'm honest, but that was a potential high. Then it came back and re-entered the level. Then it retested it, right? So imagine going back one chart, that's a trend line, which was broken, consolidate, back underneath, no retest, so I can't go. But this one, same thing, except it's a horizontal level. Broke it, consolidated, back underneath, retested with that beautiful bar there. And that's where you go short there, underneath the green bar. Stop loss there. Exit there. Absolutely perfect. So what am I looking for now? I'm looking for exactly the same scenario as occurred here. So breakout, back in, retest, short. Now, it's contestable that I've already got a lower high based on the potential reversal bar, which is questionably, but I don't think anybody'd argue too much, a bearish engulfing bar. So once I've got that, I've got a potential reversal, and then I'm looking for what? One of two things, lower high or false break of resistance. Here's our resistance. Here's our potential lower high. I could go short there if I wanted to, but I don't think I've got enough confirmation to do that. And I've got the weekly pivot dead ahead. So if I entered there, I've got to take profit before the weekly pivot, because the potential is it'll hit the weekly pivot and go kaboom like that, like it did here, right? So I don't want to do that. What I'd, pardon me, much rather see is price actually hit that monthly pivot, weekly pivot, and then go bounce, but fail to take out the high. What's that telling me? That's going to tell me that these dudes didn't want to go higher than that, and they don't want to go higher than that again. So that's the time I'd like to go. So back in, retest, go. That's Euro Aussie. So they're the two pairs that I thought were very, very much worthy of our attention this morning. What have we got? We've got a break. We've got consolidation. We've got a re-entry. What am I looking for, guys? This bar here. 4-hour chart. I'm looking for that bar to give me. This is a dreadful color. Who put that color there? Initials of the person who will remain nameless are Jeff Pine. What do I need to do here? Color. Dark khaki. There you go. No bloody wonder. What color do I want? Light gray? No. Puce. Maybe gray. Oh, I know what the problem is. These candles. Bar up. There'll be enough out of you, Roscoe. And bar down. If they're black or even white, that'll do for now. You can see. Righto. So what have we got? We've got a break of resistance, but not only the top of that range that we've chosen, but also you can see that little salmon-y colored thing there. That's called the monthly pivot, which has been broken, rebroken. If this candle, I think I'd even trust it if it closed as it is at the moment. It's got what, an hour and 30 minutes to go. If it's green, I'd be happy to trade that short. Little bit of an issue in that there, but it has, we do have an entry below that trend line, so I'm okay with it. So if that candle is green, when the 4-hour chart, 4-hour candle closes, I'm going to enter there. I'm going to put my stop loss above here. Why? Because a retest of the daily pivot is entirely possible, which would then give you a lower high as well. So Euro Aussie is on top of my list. Now, if Ash were in the room, I'd be talking about why the Aussie, in my own mind, is very, very difficult to trade at the moment. I said yesterday, and I gave quite a few examples or reasons as to why that would be the case. A lot of it's to do with iron ore pricing. A lot of it's to do with some stupid submarine default by our wonderfully informed government, who just toe the line, whatever America says we do. So we've dumped the French. Look, the wisdom of that I'm not going into, although I just did. It's issues because China now are involved with that, telling us we're rat bags, and they want to fight us on the trade wars again, adding more restrictions to what they want to buy and what we're able to supply them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I just don't see a clear path for the Aussie right now. Apart from all of that junk, then I see the path for the Aussie. But all of that junk's there right now. So for me to go long the Aussie and therefore short Euro Aussie is just a little bit tough at the moment. But I would, because no matter what I think from a fundamental point of view, if the chart's telling me to do something, then I have to do that something. The difference would be, because I've got it in my mind that there's an issue, I would reduce the risk on that trade from, say, 1% to half or maybe even 1/4%. That's the difference. And I think, those of you who've just been through IFP, one of the most important things to learn when you are learning, no matter what you're learning, it doesn't matter what system, what strategy, what method of trading that you're going to use. And believe me, you'll probably go through quite a few before you decide on one. Why are they kissing it? Oh, because they got big guns. They protect us. They sworn to protect us forever and ever and ever. That's primarily the reason, mate, I think. And have, historically. I'm not sure if World War II was a rubber stamp on that, but we're reliant on them to defend our borders. I'll put it that way. So if America was to start chewing, I don't know, table legs this week, you can guarantee in a few years' time that the staple diet of all Australians would indeed be table legs. That's how it works. As stupid as that is, that's the way it's always been. Or certainly since I've been alive. And that is now 64 years, 300 and shit, what's the date? I don't know, 320 days or something. So, yeah, that's always been the case, mate. And it ain't going to change anytime soon, I wouldn't have thought. So, where was I? Completely forgotten where I was now. But then I remind the elephant, so I should know where I was. Talking about, technicals. Technicals are the way I trade. And fundamentals, I hate to admit it, but fundamentals are actually something that I need to take consideration of, which I need to take consideration. Sorry, I was just about to use bad grammar. And grammar gets angry when I do that. I would trade this because it's a technical setup that I like. Now, it's my technical setup. It may not be anybody else's. And that goes back to what I was saying before. It's not about how, it's about if. Table legs, Crystal. Yeah, what's wrong with table legs? They're not on my diet and not likely to be. I prefer a nice juicy steak or a nice piece of Tassie salmon or some oysters or something like that. Tassie scallop's pretty good too, fried in butter, nice gently, really good. Table legs, no, I agree. It was just something that came out of my head. Righto, I need to see if my good friend Shukri is in the room because it is 1/2 the hour. One thing I haven't done, right, euro dollar. Euro dollar, guys, is where it all began for me. Well, it's not where it all began. Why do I say things and then completely say the opposite? It's where I learn to win, I think, on euro dollar. And there's probably good reason for that. It's because it is the most traded currency pair. And for that reason, I believe it is probably a little bit more reliable than some of the others, certainly the exotics, which can bounce all over the place. So euro dollar today, here's how I analyze euro dollar. I already know pretty much what I need to know from a bigger picture point of view. And this is telling me multiple things, but the current thing it's telling me is that it's bouncing off support, which was former resistance. So that's the monthly chart that we're looking at, of course. And underneath, or on top of all that, if you like, is this scenario, which is also telling me that we're above a long-term trend line. So I've got to be thinking this has got prospects. So from a charting point of view, I'm probably looking for a long here. It's against my grain also, but let me discover a little bit further why that might be the case. And there it is there. Look at that, false break, guys. False break of support. So we've gone a long way on that false break. Then we've hit a resistance level and come back to that support level that was broken before. Question, are we going to false break it again, or are we going to break it again? Look what I've got here. I've got a red candle that is bouncing off a support level. And why am I not trading that on the daily chart? That's a good question. There'll be a reason, but I can't see it. It's kind of weird. I know what it was. I was waiting for a daily pivot test. Yeah, okay. It's always a reason. So here's what I want to do. Have I got a reversal pattern here? That's the 4 hour. Let's go to the daily. Have I got a reversal pattern here? Some would say yes. And that candle there is a recognized reversal bar. You could call it a hammer if you wanted to, but you'd probably need to just get rid of that tail a little bit. But here's going back to context again. Context in this case is going against my grain. My grain is that I have an edge on euro dollar, and that edge is all about knowing the numbers. The numbers here suggest to me, don't suggest to me, they shout at me that I can't go long just now. Why? Because I've got an untested daily pivot below me. Now, one of the things that is my absolute thing is I don't trade away from an untested daily pivot. The reason for that is because I don't know, I haven't done the exercise. I have to do the exercise because I've got a course coming up in February, I think. I know through many times of doing this exercise that 70 to 80% of the time, this all time, I'm not talking about now, yesterday, month, week, whatever, all time, the daily pivot is tested on euro dollar. That higher percentage. So why would I then want to say, oh, well, it's not going to happen today? Nah, won't happen today. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to wait till the daily pivot's tested before I went away from? I answered the question, didn't I? So that to me is my edge when I'm trading euro US dollar. Now, at the moment, as you can very clearly tell, we haven't moved too far from this level, pardon me, all day long. So this is going to break out, got no doubt about that. And likely the way that I see it would be to the high side. Why? Well, because we've done our analysis. We know that the monthly chart's telling us long. We know that the weekly chart's telling us long. we know that the daily chart is telling me long. I don't know if it's necessarily telling you long, but it's telling me that I've got a game changer bar here. Why didn't I put that on my list? Interesting. So I've got a game changer bar here, and I've got what is arguably a reversal pattern as well, or in one candle. I don't think this is a classic reversal pattern. So this, I can't really call this a high or low based on that. But the one thing stopping me going long, as I said, was the untested daily pivot. Wouldn't stop me going long. Don't actually use that as per se. What it does do is it makes me wait. And what I see at the moment, I like. So now what I'm going to do is actually place that trade, because what has occurred is exactly what I was afraid of. Worried, concerned. One of those would happen. None of those really. It was just timing thing. So when price comes back and tests the daily pivot, that's my signal to go. It may continue and take this low one again, and that's fine. Because again, if I trade a red candle, it'll keep going and I won't be taken into the trade long. That's my insurance bar, right? So that's exactly what I'll be looking to do. I could now wait and trade it on a smaller time frame and wait for a false break of resistance, support rather. But I'm not inclined to do that now. What I am inclined to do is, as soon as the daily pivot's tested, see if I can find a setup here. I've got some beautiful, what I call shots over the bow. Shots over the bow are, I've got proprietary candle patterns, right? You don't see them in books. They don't exist. They're in my book that I've never written. That's one of them. And that potentially is one of them. That's forming as one of them. So that's telling me this is a long candle setup. This is a long candle setup for my system. It's telling me stand by. That's what it's telling me. It's telling me get ready. This thing is going to there. So that's what I'm aware of at the moment. But I can't just jump into the market because I've got other rules that suggest that that level there is the high of the day. So if I enter there, I'm trading straight into a resistance level. The high of the day, which is actually daily resistance level number 1 as well. So I'm not going to do that. But what I can do is now go back to my daily chart, find that I've got that high there, put my entry above it, and put my stop loss below the candle that actually was the one I wanted to trade in the first place. So instead of being traded in drawdown, because I was prepared to wait, I'm now not in the trade yet, but I can still place that order, which I will now do. So if you want to follow this, here is what I'm going to do. First of all, I get the levels. The stop loss level will be a few pips below that low. The low is 1.16997. So 1.169, pardon me, 95 sounds good to me. So that'll be the stop loss. The entry level, like I said, would be above today's candle by about 3 or 4 pips. 1.17396, we'll call that 1.1740. So we'll go 1.1745. 1.1745 is entry. Stop loss 1.1695. And we need a take profit level as well. Take profit number 1 couldn't be any clearer. It's the weekly pivot, but we don't go on the weekly pivot. We go just below the weekly pivot. So the level will be 1.1763. 1.1763. That gives me 18 pips of first take profit on a risk of, what have I got? 50. Does that work? 1850. That's another calculation I have to make. I'm only prepared to take at least 1/3 of my risk, which in this case is 50 pips, as a minimum first take profit. So let me zoom in on here. Entry here, just above that bar, first take profit here, just below the weekly pivot. It looks a whole lot more than 15 pips, I've got to say. Hmm. 1.1741. I've got 4.5. I've just been a little bit more conservative, that's all. Okay, I get it. So that works. So 18 times 3 is 54. I've got a 50 pip risk. So I'm okay. I'm inside my comfort zone. So there's the order. I'll place that order now. I'll put it on the trade manager so I don't have to worry about it. There. Now, how confident am I? That's the next thing. What did I just do? Put the wrong thing on there. Let me try that again. Trade manager. That's what I want. So let's look at that. My bias is long. Got it? Yep. That means I can trade at full risk because I'm going long. Have I got a resistance level, something that could interrupt my trade? Not really. Oh, well, I do. I've got DR2 here. Am I going counter trend? All of those sorts of things I take into consideration. And I think the answer to the trend scenario, if I have a look at this a little bit closer, there is no trend. We're actually at the bottom of a range here, which suits me down to the ground. So I'm more than happy to go long. The only thing stopping me from trading this at full 1% is that DR2 level. So therefore, the risk I'm going to take into this is 0.5%. So I'll use my methods. I'll go 0.5%. And we'll go not at break of bar, but we'll go in at 1.1745. We will have a stop loss at 1.1695. And we'll get rid of take profit. Take profit 1, we'll get rid of 15, and we'll make that a level, which is 1.1763. And we'll close half at that time. This is important, guys. Those of you who don't know the way I trade. What I've actually done here is traded, that'll do, a candle, but I've used the chart and today's bar to give me a safer entry. So if today's bar is taken out to the high side, chances are it's going to resistance, right? That's the whole premise. But the candle is the one I'm trading as well. So stop loss underneath there. If I've got enough take profit level before weekly pivot, which I do, we calculated that right. I've got 18 pips of first take profit on a risk of 54. That's cool. Then what I must do when I hit that level is take half of my risk off the table. But not only that, I have to move my stop loss the same amount of pips that I took at first take profit. In this case, 117.45, 117.63 is 18 pips. So therefore, I have to take stop loss to 18 pips below my entry. And that there is the trade. TP2, we will disable, because if we get through here, we'll probably be looking at the top of this or these highs up here. I do believe we're in the range, and if we can go back up to there, happy days. So we buy that, and all is well with the world. Entry above today's bar, stop loss below yesterday's bar, and take profit just before the weekly pivot. That's the trade for today, euro dollar. Now, this could well be, or there could well be a better entry. Price is giving us an indication that we may get a lower price here. So that's cool. And there, if you needed any demonstration of why you wouldn't go long until that happens, there's probably one of the prime reasons we needed to see that happen. if we got a a low test bar sitting there, that would be interesting. But I really want to see price get away from there, then come back to it if I am to trade that line. Best case scenario, as always, is to find a support level. So on this 30-minute chart, it's gone well through that. We'd need some price action to happen here to trade a false break of support. Not going to happen. Could be a false break of the daily pivot. That's the best case scenario always. Jaira's got a question. Why do you like to place your horizontal lines, e.g. TP1, near pivots, e.g. weekly pivot, instead of on the pivots? I find most of the time price touches the pivot. That's the key, Jaira. Most of the time is not all of the time. And it's my experience that when I come back after a 9 hours sleep or something, I won't say invariably because that's a dreadful word to use, but a lot of the time, you will find that exactly what you were looking for has taken place, and you may have missed the weekly pivot by half a pip or something, and price has come back down here. You're then faced with a decision that you have to make. Am I going to wait until the weekly pivot is tested, or am I now going to accept that that very close call was indeed just like here, right? Not that that's a classic indication, but you missed the daily pivot by a little bit, prices pull back away. You go, oh, SH1T. Now what do? I'm forced into a decision. Whereas if I'm out 1 pip before and price did do exactly that, it may come back to it and test it, right? It's just one of those things that's in my head that over time, I have seen many, many occasions where we've got a situation just like that, and I've come out of my slumber, and I then have to make a decision. Do I now wait for the second approach, or do I take my medicine and not get that TP1? So that's the reason. It's just purely a personal thing, nothing more than that. Do you think Shukri sacked me? He wasn't in last week either. I might have to have a chat to that chappie. That could be a reason. He hasn't contacted me. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm guessing he's not coming. So, guys, I don't really have too much more. We've placed an order in the market today, giving you a very, very strong indication as to what I do with my end of day trading in particular. Intraday trading, I'm not doing so much at the moment. I mean, I know I've just placed an order in the market, but really it's an end of day trade. If this had set up for me to trade long on a 30-minute chart, I would so have done, but it hasn't. And this is the only time I sit in front of the charts now, is with you guys for that hour or so on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and in the morning when I do my analysis. Like I said, I'm still going to trade this bar if it comes up to here. What was the other one? Euro Aussie. Yep, need that to be a green bar to trade it. Otherwise, I can't trade it. So both of those are still in play. I had Aussie yen right on my watch list, and that's also doing something that I'm happy to see. Why am I happy to see it rally? Well, because I'm not in it short yet. That's why, and I want to be in it short. Unlike a lot of analysts who are disagreeing with me, and that's fine. That's just up my alley when that's the case. So I'm looking for this to get in as well. Best case scenario here, I suppose, is the same as always. We wait for that to be broken, come back underneath it, underneath the pivots, retest, go short. That's what I'll be looking to do. Euro dollar seems to be in the middle of a bear channel. Where I've actually got euro dollar, and I don't know why I haven't got it on this chart, is in a very big weekly chart. Probably. I'll go to yours first. So you're probably looking at this. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Something like that, mate. Pretty close, I would imagine. Yeah, look, I see it. If that's the channel that you're looking, daily chart, okay, I'll go to that. But that's indicating to me exactly the same as I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing on this particular chart is that. So to my mind, we're back inside there, maybe even be a bit higher, where I've got my red line, my horizontal line. We've come back in, and now we've got potentially a higher low. And that seems to be forming on the weekly chart as well with this bar. Pardon me. Daily bar is the one that we're trading, right? So this is really the first chance that I'm getting at trading my re-entry retest into that rectangle. So if you're looking at channel, I suspect that we're probably seeing something similar. Let me get rid of that now. Daily chart, a little bit wider. Oh, is that the one I've got on my chart? No, that's the weekly. Daily chart. Is it not the same one? It's pretty close. Maybe swing it up there. Or are you looking a lot tighter? Is that where you are, Gyro? Or you're a lot tighter? Is that the one you're looking at? Yeah, by all means, mate. Come on. Angel, can you give Gyro some powers if he needs them, please? My my cup of tea is cold. Okay, here he comes.
Okay.
G'day, mate.
I have a good day, Geoff. Good day, buddies. So what I have is a bear channel here with a false break to the top, and then it came down and it's now in the middle of this bearish channel, right? So it could go up as Geoff said, but it could go up a bit and then come down further, which is another possibility.
Yep. Okay, I like that. Wondering where you're getting that from. What's the date where you're starting there, man?
This is the daily chart for euro dollar.
I've got it. I think I've got it. Yeah. So you're there. And
I think it could go both ways. It could go up, as you say, but it could go up and then come down as well. That's a possibility.
Completely. This is, I think, one of the reasons why we take profit, right? Because we have indeed, as you say, come back inside here, no question. And I would agree with your analysis that if this pops up to here, maybe it hits the weekly and then goes short. Maybe it hits the monthly and then goes short. But right now, for this moment, I'm seeing, let's call it a long to get short, shall we?
Yeah.
Have we got an entry short?
Not at the moment. I was thinking maybe if it hits the monthly pivot, or maybe around here.
Yeah, we're going to get a lower high.
Yeah, a lower high, and then it will go short.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it, but that's not going to stop me trading it up to the monthly pivot.
Yep. So putting a small percentage for the up, waiting to go short later.
Like it. Love it.
All right.
Absolutely. If I see it get up there, I'll be with you, mate.
Yep.
If there's a setup, of course. As you know, I like to have a setup before I go anywhere. That's a fact.
Definitely.
Yes.
Mind
Indeed.
sting alike.
Good man. And the bub's good? Everything's fine?
Yes, he is.
Excellent, mate. Excellent. All right, guys. Unless there are any more questions, I am about to bid you adieu. As I say, there's still a few things to look at today. Aussie Swiss is one. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get into it, but gee whiz, I'd like to see it up at the weekly pivot and give me a rejection bar. Then I can look to go short. Or even, I'm going to have to get rid of this ridiculous color on up here somewhere, or maybe another high here, and we can play a false break of resistance as it comes back underneath the pivots and the trade line. That's what I'm looking for. Euro Aussie, I haven't given up on that. We've got 58 minutes to go. If we can just get some green about that bar, I'd be willing to trade underneath it, but got to take first profit on or before the weekly pivot. I'm with you, Jared. It's a great question, isn't it? Do you wait till it hits the weekly pivot, or do you just take that little bit off? That's what I do. Now I've got an issue, haven't I? Because it's come a bit low. So entry there. Yeah, I really wouldn't want to put my stop there either. It's got to go here. So I think it's got away from me. 62 versus 12. It's not good enough. The reward versus the risk is poor. So that's probably going to be a no from me. Kiwi Cad, I'm still onto that one. That will still work. So entry there. Say stop loss there. Probably belongs there though, doesn't it? 33 versus, that'll work. 11 or 12. So I'm okay with that. That would be very early in the piece, mind you. Really the best trade out of this now that candle didn't give us a retest, would be to wait for the lower high up here somewhere. But early entry would be underneath that bar if it's green. But I'd much prefer to see it test here as well. And the euro, you know about that. Everything else I think I've discussed with you. And I do apologize. Oh, I haven't got my screen. Sorry. I didn't take it back, did I? My apologies. You haven't seen anything. I haven't shown you anything in that last few minutes that I haven't shown you before. So I really want to see price get up to here at least. Give me a false break of resistance, or up here, back underneath retest. That is Aussie Swissy. Euro Aussie. It's now too tough to trade. Even if this was a green bar, I've got to get my stop up here, and the reward to the weekly pivot is not going to be good enough to take versus the risk. So that'll be a no. Kiwi Cad. Kiwi Cad I will take. The only problem here might be, no, that's okay. I'd love to see it close here. That would be awesome. And if we've got 30 odd pips of risk, our reward is 10 to 12 pips. So that's going to work okay. Again, might be a bit early. It might have to wait till it gets up there. That's Kiwi Cad. That's about it, I think. Aussie, and I'm still praying PREYING on that one. Want to get short, but again, I've got no resistance to trade off at this point. And of course, you know about the euro. We just discussed that one at length. Guys, I'm missing Shukri. I'm going to have to go and find him, find out where he is and why he's not in here. I will do so, and hopefully we'll round him up for next Tuesday. Of course, if you're following cryptos, you'll be in Shukri's shows anyway on Mondays and Wednesdays. I think he's still doing his shows, so you can catch up with him there as well. Thank you, folks, for your company. It has been wonderful to have you in. Thanks, Jaira, for participating. Guys, anybody is welcome to do what Jaira just did at any point, anytime. That's what we're here for. We're here to discuss things and be trading buddies. That's what the show's called, and that's what we are. Thank you for being mine today, and hopefully you'll catch up with Ash tomorrow. I won't be in. Ash and Ainsley talking on gold and oil will be in, so you can be their trading buddies tomorrow. We will catch you then. They will catch you then. I'll catch you on Thursday when it's quiz day. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye for now.